All right, on to part two here. Another important trial during this time was the trial of Ethel and Julius Rosenberg in 1951. The Rosenbergs were accused of being part of a spy ring that sent atomic secrets to the Soviets while having worked on the Manhattan Project. Um, Despite the fact that they maintained their innocence, they were found guilty and executed. Uh, Ethel and Julius Rosenberg were the first U.S. citizens ever put to death for espionage or spying. And that happened in 1951. Another important aspect of the time period was Mccarthyism, which was a term given to Senator Joseph McCarthy, who is from the Fox River Valley in Wisconsin. Yay! And his kind of reign of terror, some people would say, from 1950 to 1954. McCarthy was looking for an issue that would win him re-election, and so in 1950 he made a claim in West Virginia, Wheeling, West Virginia, in which he stated that there were 205 communists in the State Department. By doing this, he was implying that the Soviet Union controlled U.S. foreign policy. Now, McCarthy received a lot of support for his accusations. The first one, well, there's two real main reasons as to why he did this. The first was that Republicans backed him in an effort to hurt the Democrats. So this is political. He also, number two, he gave simplistic explanations for why the U.S. lost China to communism, and for why the U.S. seemed to be losing the Cold War. His explanation was because we had communists in the State Department. China went communist in 1949. However, the reality of the situation was that there was a little more complex. It was a little more complex than McCarthy's simplistic explanation. Concerning his number of 205 communists in the State Department, McCarthy kept changing his number, and he never offered proof of his accusations. However, a lot of people believed him because they felt very fearful of communism, and they wanted to make sure that if this was a claim that they would take care of it. It wouldn't just be ignored. Eventually, the term Mccarthyism was used to coin. It was a political term that was used to coin the idea of advancing one's political career by making unproven accusations of disloyalty. Arthur Miller, a famous playwright, if you have Mrs. Mom's class, you can ask her about The Crucible. I don't know if you guys read that or not. Was used to compare McCarthyism to the Salem witch trials. So did the same thing there, but he used McCarthyism, and he talked about the Salem witch trials as kind of the prop for that. When McCarthy claimed that the U.S. Army was riddled with communists, it led to the Army Mccarthy Hearings that were televised and watched by millions of Americans. Two ways in which the Army McCarthy Hearings made McCarthy look bad and kind of led to his end was, number one, he seemed like a schoolyard bully on television, kind of a jerk. Very mean-spirited. And number two, the U.S. Army's attorney, Joseph Welch, stood up to McCarthy, and the audience burst into applause at the end of the hearing because of this. Now, Army attorney Joseph Welch said, "Until this moment, Senator, I think I never really gauged your cruelty or your recklessness. Have you no sense of decency, sir, at long last?" McCarthy was formally condemned by the Senate for conduct unbecoming a member. He died of chronic alcoholism 3 years later. He was buried in Appleton, Wisconsin, and will forever be known for his role in this anti-communist propaganda. That concludes guided discussion number 5. I know it was like only 10 minutes of video, but you're going to take some time to go through it and write everything down. So please make sure you do that, okay? All right.